Please nod your head if you can understand me.
Settle in, calm down. The Grumpy Scot here has just endured what can only be described as the cinematic equivalent of being forced to watch what amounts to a glimpse into the mind of James Gunn while someone repeatedly slaps you with a wet fish. Superman's James Gunn has arrived, and I really wish it hadn't. Now, I went into this steaming pile of cape-wearing mediocrity with what you might generously call cautious optimism. After all, Gunn did give us decent Guardian films, and surely, he couldn't completely balls up the most iconic superhero in existence. Well, congratulations, James. You've fucking managed to make Superman about as inspiring as a damp Sunday in Motherwell. Let me paint you a picture of this narrative disaster. We've got Superman, who's apparently been shopping in the personality discount bin. He's got all the charisma of a soggy digestive biscuit. This isn't the Man of Steel. This is a man of jelly, wobbling about Metropolis like he's perpetually confused about whether he left the gas on back in Smallville. The actual film opens with our hero moping about, and I use that term loosely, while Metropolis burns around him. Not literally, mind you. That would require actual stakes and peril. No, this is a metaphorical burning. The kind that happens when diversity quotas meet heavy-handed social commentary in a blender operated by someone who's never actually met a human being. But before all that, we get a history lesson about metahumans that, well, newsflash, nobody gives a fuck about. There's a superdog in this movie, but it adds nothing except annoyance. There's also a baby rescue scene, some kind of green Yoda-like thing. I think Gunn was crossing the streams in the Buchanan Street toilets when he came up with that one. And then we have Superman, the wet wipe of steel. Their titular character, played by a strangely Hispanic-looking David Corenswet, has been transformed from an inspiring beacon of hope into what can only be described as a participation trophy given sentience. He spends most of the film looking like he's about to apologise for existing, which, given his performance, might be appropriate. The man who once made us believe a person could fly. Who's person? Fuck me. It's affecting me as well now. Anyway, makes us believe a person... The man who once made us believe a man could fly now makes us believe a man can bore us to tears while hovering 3 feet off the ground. His emotional range goes from mildly concerned to slightly more concerned, with occasional details into apologetic for having opinions. The one time he does go scripto, it's about that fucking dog. Possibly the most annoying canine ever. I think it might have been modelled after mine. Lois Lane. Acted by Rachel Brosnan. Easy on the eye. But once a time she was a brilliant, determined reporter who could hold her own in any room. Now she's been transformed into what appears to be a Twitter activist who stumbled into a newspaper office by mistake. Every conversation she has sounds like she's reading from a political manifesto she found in a university coffee shop. Her relationship with Superman has all the chemistry of a wet sock meeting another wet sock. You know it's bad when you're actively rooting for them to break up just so you don't have to endure another scene of them together. And then we have Lex Luthor. Speaking of a criminal misuse of talent, let's talk about Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult. Apparently modelled on what would happen if Jeff Bezos had a midlife crisis and decided to become a Bond villain. He's got a layer. Because of course he does. It looks like it was designed by someone who watched too many YouTube videos about billionaire aesthetic. The man who should be Superman's greatest intellectual nemesis has been reduced to a tech bro with delusions of grandeur. His evil plan is about as sophisticated as a primary school playground scene and twice as annoying. Now, I'm not opposed to social commentary in superhero movies. Done well, it can add depth and relevance. Done poorly, it's like being repeatedly battered about the head with a newspaper soaked in good intentions and bad execution. Gunn's approach to Superman's Immigrant story is about as subtle as a 3 a.m. ice raid. Every 10 minutes someone stops to remind us that Superman is an immigrant, just in case we've forgotten since the last time they mentioned it. It's handled with all the delicacy of a drunk elephant performing brain surgery. The film seems to confuse meaningful commentary with repeatedly shouting the same point, till everyone in the cinema wishes they'd stayed home and done the actual fucking ironing. The Daily Planet newsroom now looks like it was cast by someone playing diversity bingo with a checklist they found on the internet. Perry White seems to have gone to the dark side, if you get my drift. Now, don't get me wrong, representation matters, but when it's this obviously calculated, it feels less like genuine inclusion and more like corporate box ticking. Every character introduction feels like they're announcing their demographic credentials before their actual character traits. It's performative casting at its most cynical, and it does a disservice to everyone involved. There are lots of characters in this movie, but I'm not going through them, because they're all filler. Even the major peril in the movie is resolved by what appears to be an IT guy with vitiligo. Fuck me. This is the curse of being well read but never hearing the word in actual use. In Gunn's world, apparently everyone needs a secret lair. Superman's got one. Luthor's got one. I half expected Jimmy Olsen to reveal his underground photography bunker by the third act. These aren't creative additions to the mythology. They're lazy shortcuts that scream, I watched too many Marvel films and missed the point of every single one. Superman's lair in particular is a crime against the character. The man who represents openness and hope shouldn't be hiding in a cave like some knockoff Batman. A fundamental misunderstanding of what makes Superman work. The film's attempt at commentating on current global conflict is about as sophisticated as a playground argument. The two warring countries subplot, and I use subplot generously, is handled with all the nuance of extinguishing a fire on your face using an ice pick. It's a kind of political commentary that makes you wonder if the writer, and we can only look at you, Gunn, have actually ever opened a newspaper or just get their international relations knowledge from Twitter threads. And then we get to the ending. Oh, the ending. Without spoiling too much, let's just say that the introduction of what I can only describe as Trailer Park Annie and her reunion with her miracle mutt feels like it was written by someone who watched too many Hallmark movies and thought, you know what Superman needs? More folksy wisdom from people who look like they shop exclusively at yard sales. The dog. Christ, that dog. Apparently, it's more personality than most of the human characters. And when a CGI canine is carrying more emotional weight than your leading man, time to reassess your directorial choices. The cinematography is competent, but it's uninspired. It's like watching someone make a superhero movie by committee. Every creative decision appears to have been filtered through 17 focus groups and a risk assessment panel. The soundtrack, which should be soaring and inspirational, sounds like it was composed by someone who'd heard of John Williams, but never actually listened to his work. The musical equivalent of supermarket background noise, technically present, but completely forgettable. Special effects are fine, I suppose, but fine isn't what you want for Superman. You want spectacular, you want awe-inspiring, you want to believe a man can fly. Instead, you get competent CGI that makes you believe a man can hover awkwardly while looking apologetic about it. And actually, that scene in the Proton River, or anti-Proton River, don't fucking castigate me for getting that wrong. That was just awful. But here's the thing about James Gunn. He has made good movies before. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies worked because they were essentially space comedies with heart.
Drop it now!
Yeah, hey, cool, man. No problem. No problem at all.
Who are you?
Star-Lord.
Who?
Superman isn't a space comedy, and Gunn seems to have forgotten that. This feels like a director who's fundamentally misunderstood the character he's been asked to bring to life. Superman isn't supposed to be relatable in the way that Star-Lord is relatable. He's supposed to be aspirational, inspiring, something to look up to. Instead, we get a Superman who looks like he needs a hug and a career counsellor. At one point, he's saving people and looking, well, fed up with it would be accurate. Then he goes out of his way to save a squirrel. Yeah, a squirrel. Rats that can climb trees and carry rabies. And what? What are we supposed to go, oh? If I wasn't so restrained and cheap, I'd have thrown my ice cream at the screen. This was like watching an extended version of Doom Patrol. If Doom Patrol was worse in every way. In fact, that's not even fair to Doom Patrol, which at least had the decency to be weird and interesting. This Superman is just boring, terminally, aggressively boring. Some might even say passively, aggressively boring. At least Doom Patrol knew it was strange and leaned into it. This Superman can't even commit to being properly bad. It's just mediocre in the most soul-crushing way possible. But I really went into this movie desperately wanting to find something, anything to recommend. I scoured every frame looking for redeeming qualities like a detective searching for evidence at a crime scene. The result? Nada. Nothing. Film is a redeeming feature-free zone. It's not even entertainingly bad, which would at least give us some value as a hate watch. It's just nothing. A big, expensive nothing. It somehow makes you forget why you ever liked Superman in the first place. James Gunn has taken one of the most beloved characters in popular culture and turned him into a walking apology for existing. It's a feat of such spectacular creative bankruptcy that it almost deserves recognition for its complete failure to understand what makes Superman work. Save your money, save your time, and for the love of all that's holy, save your sanity. Go watch the Christopher Reeve films instead. Remind yourself why Superman matters, because this film certainly won't. I'm the Grumpy Scot, and I'm off to the supermarket to find something with subtlety, character development, and a basic understanding of what makes a superhero super, probably wrapped in a bottle called Macallan. Avoid this film like you'd avoid a plague-carrying rat in a kilt. Your brain will thank you. I'm great.
A Grumpy Scot with a pint in hand, ripping through films like a one-man band. Snarky cinema where the burns are hot, honest reviews you'll never forgot. Oh hey, oh hey, let the truth be told. No sugar here, it's biting and bold. With smirk and a scowl and a hearty laugh, the Grumpy Scot is here to riff your craft. Remakes to sequels gone wrong, he'll tear them apart all video long. But if it's a gem, he'll tip his hat. Rare moments when praise comes from this cat. From cringe remakes to sequels gone wrong, he'll tear them apart all video long. But if it's a gem, he'll tip his hat. Rare moments when praise comes from this cat. Snark so sharp it'll cut through steel. Honesty that you can taste and feel. No fluff, no fuss, it's the Scottish creed. For brutal truth the world does plead. Oh hey, oh hey, let the truth be told. No sugar here, it's biting and bold. With a smirk and a scowl and a hearty laugh, the Grumpy Scot is here to riff your craft. So grab your popcorn and duck for cover. It's cinema chats with a twist to discover. Snarky Scot with reviews that sting, a brutally honest movie rating king.